friends, I'm Jessica and welcome back to my channel. So happy that you can be here. So we're in a whole different location today. Your girl is switching it up a little bit. We are in front of my Christmas tree. I haven't decorated the tree yet, so it just has its lights on here, and yeah, we're gonna slowly but surely get to the Christmas decoration. So I decided, why not film today's video in front of my little mini Christmas tree that I bought for my very mini apartment that I have here. So this is gonna be our view for the video today. Hope you guys don't mind. So today I'm going to be doing my November wrap up. I feel like the months are flying by. I'm still trying to guess like what month we're in. But we're gonna be doing my November wrap up. So these are all of the books that I have read for the month of November. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first book is Caste by Isabel Wilkerson. She is also the author of Warmth of Other Suns. I have not read that book by her, but holy hell, you guys. This book absolutely took my breath away. As you can see, I annotated the crap out of this book because it was just that good. This book dives into the narrative that we have here in America, the hidden hierarchy or the caste system that we have that really separates people, especially Black and white people, and what that looks like in today's society, as well as what that looks like throughout history. It's an extremely educational book, one that has some very strong messages within it, so I will say you have to be prepared for it, so have an open mind if you are going to be reading this. But it is such an incredible book. Definitely one of my favorites that I read this month. If you want to know more just about Black history, about where you come from and what your place is in this world, read this, seriously. And then pass it to your friends and family, because I feel like this is definitely a book that everyone needs to read at some point in their life. It is extremely educational, extremely enlightening, and I think they're making a documentary of this book. I think it's gonna be a documentary, but anyway, Ava DuVernay is directing it and filming it, so I'm there. Just, there's so much to say about this book. It is just so powerful, and you really get a better understanding of how this crazy society works that we live in. So highly recommend Caste. I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. All right, so the next book is The Hotel on the Corner of Bitter and Sweet by Jamie Ford. This one my boyfriend actually picked up for me while he was on a trip in San Diego, so I thought it was really cute that he picked out this book for me. He said that, you know, I might enjoy it because it's a love story and it's set, you know, during World War II. I love books that are set in World War II. So here I am, I finally read your book. Yeah, so this book is about a man, and it's set in World War II, and his name is Henry Lee. He's a Chinese man and a young boy. He grows up during this time of World War II. He encounters this young girl. Her name is Keiko, and she's a Japanese girl, and she's then transferred to this Japanese internment camp in Seattle. And it's about their friendship that they have as young adolescents, and it grows into something a little bit more deeper, but it ends up not really going anywhere because Henry ends up not being able to find her in these internment camps that she's, I guess, sent out to. About 50 years later, we find that Henry is like recounting these memories that he has of his life in Seattle as a young boy, and these memories that he's had of Keiko, who is supposedly like his long lost love. I will say this book is very cute. It's simple, but I feel like it was a whole lot of nothing, and it was very anticlimactic in the end. I was really disappointed. I wanted a lot more from the book, so I only gave it a 3 stars. Again, it was really interesting in the beginning. I was definitely intrigued. And then about, I don't know, almost 2/3 from finishing, I was like, wow, this is it. So it was really anticlimactic for me. But yeah, very simple. If you like books that are set in, World War II or in the 40s, I think this one is really perfect. And I also have not read a lot of books about the Japanese internment camp, so I definitely am interested in learning more. This one just was okay. It really didn't do it for me. Wasn't a favorite of mine, so 3 stars. All right, so this next book that I read was Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. And I'm not going to dive too much into this because I've already filmed a book review on that. So if you haven't checked it out, go ahead and make sure you do that. But yeah, I know a lot of people like this. I just think this book was not for me. The more I sit on it, the more I really just did not like this book. And it's not even super mushy gushy or anything. It just was corny. I don't know. Something just did not sit right with me in this book. I think the representation in this book was outstanding, fantastic, especially, with characters dealing with a chronic illness. I feel like we don't really get that often, so I would love to see more representation in the literature world like this, because I think Talia Hibbert really got it spot on. The characters themselves really just fell flat for me. I wanted so much more from them. I really did want to like Chloe, but I don't know, I just didn't like it. But I will say that this book is super important and people can certainly identify with it. I just think it was a story that I didn't really like, really didn't tickle my pickle. Whoops. But I don't know. I just think it was not for me. But again, love the representation. I gave this one a 3 stars, 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. So yeah. You win some, you lose some. You know what I mean? All right, so this next one is Group by Christy Tate. I actually read this one for my book club, the literary league that I am in. And this book, I've been seeing a lot of buzz about it. It is a bit of a controversial book, so I was definitely into that. But it is a nonfiction book, actually. It's about a woman, Christy, obviously, and her experience that she has had with group therapy. And the interesting thing is that it is a bit of an unconventional way of how they deal with the therapy and I guess the doctor's recommendations and what he suggests. I don't know. I like it. It is a bit out of the box, but I like a little bit of different. I will say that this really sparks my interest in group therapy just in general. I think it's such a good idea. We definitely need more conversations when it comes to therapy and seeking help and just bettering yourself. I will say that this book does come from a little bit of a privileged viewpoint because we have to remember that therapy is not accessible to everyone, especially group therapy. So while, it's great that she went to group therapy, it's also important to note that there are so many people out there that are struggling with mental illness or just things that are going on in their life that they may not be able to afford therapy or group therapy in general. So still very good. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I really enjoyed it and I do recommend it to anyone that is interested in therapy or the experience that one may have and a little bit of an unconventional way of dealing with the therapy or going through therapy. So I enjoyed it. 4 out of 5 stars for me. All right, so the next book is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I just uploaded a video on this, so I'm going to keep this very short and brief. Again, make sure you go and check that out as well. It was just okay. Definitely wasn't a favorite of mine. I didn't really like the characters and their indecisiveness. I didn't like the surrounding characters in the book. I am interested in watching the TV series that is on Hulu, so I may watch that this week. I'll keep you guys posted. But yeah, it just wasn't a favorite of mine. I think the writing was actually really good, but the story itself was not, if that makes any sense. So writing was excellent. The story and the characters were not that great. I do want to read more by Sally Rooney because she is a good writer. just not a favorite of mine. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. Go check out my review if you want a more in-depth review of this book, but yeah, not a fave. All right, so this next one is a hefty girl. And this one is Feel Free by Zadie Smith. And this one, I'm still like toying with what I truly want to give this book because it is very dense and very academic, and it challenged me for sure. So I actually started to read this one, and then it just got to a point where it was a lot to sit down and read, so I actually switched over to audiobook. So I read it a little bit, you know, listened to the audiobook, read, listened to the audiobook, back and forth, but I feel like maybe I just wasn't in the right mindset to read this book because, again, it is very dense. So it's essentially just random things that have happened in society that Zadie Smith has chosen to read and write about. And granted, they are all wonderful things that she's writing about. It comes to like art. She writes about Jay-Z. She writes about Jordan Peele. She writes about, you know, being mixed race. So it's like just general musings of what she thinks about things in society. So it's extremely academic and so well written. I feel like I just wasn't prepared for it, and I guess I wasn't in that like academic mindset to read this, if that makes any sense at all. Definitely a good read if you are in the mindset. I just think that I wasn't mentally prepared to read this. I just had a lot going on, and listening to it on audiobook was slightly boring, and then reading it was a little boring as well. So I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Maybe I could have rated it higher if I truly was like dedicated to really immersing myself in this book. But I will say, if you like a challenge, if you want to read just things by Zadie Smith and what she has written, because she is, of course, the living legend. She's a fantastic writer if you've not read her before. But I just feel like this probably wasn't a favorite of mine for Zadie Smith. Yeah. 3.5 out of 5 stars, I think, is what I'm going to sit with. All right, folks, so those are all the books that I have read for the month of November. Again, I feel like this month has just flown by, but I'm super excited for the books that I have in December. I will make sure to share that with you guys soon. Also, December is my birthday month, so I'm really excited about the books that I have chosen. And let me know what you guys have read in the month of November. Was it a good reading month for you? It was a decent reading month for me. I do have a lot of 3-star books that I've read, but that's probably because I am a kind of a harsh grader when it comes to books. It really has to like blow me out of the water for me to truly give it like a 4.5 or 5 stars. So the books that I've read were really good. They just didn't, again, knock my shoes off, my socks off. What is that phrase? Knock my socks off. It didn't blow me away. I'll just say that. So overall, I think that it was a pretty solid reading month, but I am excited for the December books because I feel like I'm going to like almost every one of them. Hopefully almost every one of them I'm really going to thoroughly enjoy. But anyway, I feel like I'm rambling, but let me know what you guys read in November and what you plan on reading in December. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, go ahead and make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you please. And also make sure to follow me on Instagram so you can follow everything that I post, all my bookish photos. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye!